from Newswire
AOC.
on X. They're saying that AOC leads J.D. Vance 51-49 in a hypothetical 2028 poll from Verify.
Really?
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's
That's
early.
interesting. We might agree on this one.
It's very, very early. And I've been saying on the show that it is a bad idea to underestimate AOC. Whether or not you agree with her, whether or not you like her, I don't think that there's any of her policies that I personally agree with. But I do think that she's a skilled politician. I think that she wouldn't be in the situation that she's in now, basically being the face of the party right now, right? At least on the national level. There are very few Democrats that have better name recognition than AOC or that people could pick out of a lineup. It's certainly not Hakeem Jeffries or whatever.
I don't think AOC should run for president.
But I do think that it is worth noting, you know, this early, a 51-49 lead when you've got J.D. Vance in the president. And of course, Donald Trump does have a bit of baggage right now. It is fresh off of a big win, so that would affect J.D. Vance too. But I'm interested in hearing you.
No, I want to say this is 100% correct. If you're a Democrat, you should be throwing your full weight behind an AOC presidential run. Verify is not a cut rate pollster at all. They're very reputable. They definitely got the 2016 election absolutely spot on. I think every Democrat should be riding with AOC. I think this is your gal, everyone. This is your gal. Let's get behind her.
I think I
know what you're saying, Tate. I know what you're doing.
She's fantastic. I'm telling you. Look, she's blowing J.D. Vance out. Come on, nominate her. No, she's so viable.
I think that
Verisight's a great pollster.
Listen,
This is super
I think
reputable.
that she's extremely dangerous, and I think that I know that Tim disagrees, and there's a lot of people that disagree with me, but I think she is very dangerous, and I think that she could absolutely win.
So I partially agree with you. I think when Republicans attack her because she was a bartender, I think it's disgusting. I have a lot of respect for AOC. However, I don't think she should run for president. I think a vice president would be a better choice for her. If it was against a J.D. Vance, I could think of other people, not because he has the same last name as me, but Josh Shapiro. I'm thinking about the governor of Maryland. Obviously, right now, the front runner is Gavin Newsom. I think if it was a Gavin Newsom AOC ticket, I think that would work much better. This is the bottom line that Democrats need to understand, and some Democrats get very upset at me for saying this. Women are 0-2 against Donald Trump.
Let's go.
I don't believe, and listen, I have no problem with a woman being a president. I voted for Kamala Harris happily. I would have voted for a ham sandwich over Donald Trump. But
then that's not saying anything about that fact that you voted for Kamala Harris. If she's going against Donald Trump, obviously you're going to vote for anyone at all.
But I'm just speaking in general terms who I think can win. I'd be very concerned. While I agree with some of the stuff you said, I think you have to put a man in there. And it's not because I don't like women. It's not because I don't think a woman could be president. I voted for Kamala. I would be concerned if she was running for president. I think Democrats right now need to learn from their mistakes. You know, Hillary and Kamala lost to Trump. Joe Biden won. So I think the polls are, listen, we're 3 hours out. I'm sorry, 3 years out. I think it's a little early with these polls.
Yeah.
I think you guys do have an issue with J.D. Vance. He's not Donald Trump in the sense that he's not bringing people out the way Donald Trump did, even though I despise Donald Trump. J.D. Vance certainly doesn't have the charisma, and he's not as well liked as certainly some of you would say Donald Trump is. So
I agree. I agree with Brian, and he'll agree with me. We need to get these broads back to the kitchen. Get them out of here.
Well, I didn't say that. You sound like Myron Gaines now. I didn't say that.
Well, I mean, you didn't say it so colorfully, but
it's
you
not because I
said
don't
the same
want
thing.
them to be president. I don't think it's the same reason why if Pete Buttigieg ran for president. By the way, I think Pete Buttigieg is an extremely
Tossing
intelligent
the gays
guy.
under the bus.
And I'm not trying to do that either. I think there are a lot of people out there that did not vote for Kamala Harris, sadly, because she's a woman.
You don't think that it was because of Kamala Harris as a person, as a candidate?
What was wrong with her as a person?
As a candidate, she was extremely unlikable. She had terrible charisma. And most people vote charisma. Honestly, most people vote vibes. She was unlikable. She didn't win any of the primaries when she was running. She was out before she got to her home state, because if she'd have gone in California, she'd have lost and her political career would have been over.
Okay, well, sadly, there are people out there that vote on charisma. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish people could be a little bit more informed and not vote for somebody because they make a joke. She only had three months. It's one of my biggest criticisms of Joe Biden. He should have stepped down much earlier. And if they had a primary, I would have been much better with that. They should have had that.
Yeah, the Democrats haven't had a primary in ages,
huh? Well,
Not a
Joe
real one.
Biden it's my biggest criticism of Joe Biden. He put his ego ahead of the country. He should have stepped down, and he should have been a one-term. He only gave her 3 months. Donald Trump had 4 years to campaign. She only had 3 months. I do not blame Kamala Harris. I do think her campaign was a little bit too careful with her. She should have done the Joe Rogan show. She should have done shows like this.
See, I think the reason that she didn't do those things is because of her lack of charisma.
No, I
because
disagree.
she would have been terrible on those shows.
No, I disagree. I thought her interview on the Howard Stern show was a good one, and I think that she should have done Joe Rogan. I think she was more than capable of doing it. Listen, it was an anti-Donald Trump vote for me. Okay, Kamala wasn't my first, second, or third pick, just like Joe Biden wasn't my first, second, or third pick. I think the Democrats do have some young, skilled people. AOC, I agree with what you just said. I think she's a decent human being. I don't always agree with her. I think some of her, the Green New Deal and stuff like that, a little bit too far to the left for me. But
what do you think the Inflation Reduction Act was?
I'm not a big fan. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty moderate when it comes to some policies, but I'm very much to the left when it comes to social issues, and I'm not afraid of that. I voted for 8 Republicans in the midterms. I did not vote for Barack Obama. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton. I thought John McCain could have been a really good president. I thought Mitt Romney would have been fine. I have respect for Mitt Romney. I have a lot of respect for AOC. But I just don't think that would be a smart decision for the Democrats.
You know why I didn't vote for Kamala? And you said you voted against Trump and that you would have voted for Vance.
I think Kamala was a decent human being.
Well, what I voted for was the system, because what they did was choose a candidate they bypassed the primary. I'm like, this is a bad precedent for the future of American democracy.
The precedent was already set.
They chose
Hillary Clinton
with super delegates. They set a precedent where the Democratic Party can select a candidate without the people's voice. I feel like that they call themselves Democratic, but that's a guise. It's actually the imperial economic order that's trying to control and turn us into a corporate government. So I voted against that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of people that I've spoken to, people that didn't vote. Now, they won't admit it publicly, but I do think that, sadly, this makes me really sad to say this. There's a lot of people in this country that do not want to vote for a woman as president of the United States. It makes me very sad to say that. The reason why I brought up Pete Buttigieg is, yes, I think there is a percentage of people in this country that would not vote for him because he's gay. I hate saying that. I think it's awful. I think Pete Buttigieg would be a good candidate, but we have to look at the Democrat Party have to look at the reality of the situation here. Who's electable and who's not.
You mentioned Gavin Newsom and AOC. I agree. I think that's the most powerful Democratic ticket we see. I see right now. And I'm wondering what you guys think about J.D. Vance, obviously the front runner for the Republican Party, but who do you think would make a great VP for J.D.?
Marco Rubio wants the job, and I think he's going to get it. I think that's the main reason why he took this position, and I think it will be J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, and I absolutely believe that it's going to be Gavin Newsom. Whether he picks AOC or not, I'm not sure. I think that would be a very intelligent move to make.
So your politics, where you supported John McCain tactically in a way, supported Mitt Romney, didn't want to vote for Obama, and then you've had some hang-ups with Biden, Kamala, et cetera, and then you're against Trump. To me, this sounds like someone that is just defending the status quo. And like, as a Zoomer, I'm 24. Everything around me is completely broken. The system has fundamentally failed in a variety of ways. And I just don't see how that's a defensible position to want to uphold the system as it is.
If we want to talk about policy, I'll tell you the issues that I have right now. I don't believe giving the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%, which is $100 billion this year, is a good idea. I don't like the fact that 20 million people are going to be off their Medicaid coverage in the big and beautiful bill. I don't like the fact that millions of people are going to lose their food stamps. I think we need to take care of people that are struggling. Donald Trump, the economy is very good for the richest people in this country. I don't like that. And I don't mean to sound like Bernie Sanders here, but the economy is in the crapper right now. 5 months in a row, inflation has gone up. The unemployment rate when Joe Biden left office was at 4.1%. I believe it's hovering around 4.6, 4.7%. The private sector job growth is abysmal. It's terrible. And you guys admitted it. That's why his numbers are so bad in the 30s, okay? His approval rating numbers. By the way, he didn't do what he said he was going to do.
A lot of the reason that his approval ratings are bad is because of the fact that people tend to pull away from the party that just won. So that historically,
Joe Biden's numbers were not this low a year into his presidency.
I said people tend to. So if you look historically,
and I don't think it's going to be like practical for an audience to like compare economics numbers. That was my original question: was what about the system as it stands do you see as defensible, worth upholding? Because clearly half the country voting for Trump indicates that people are very upset with the system. And on the Democrat side, voting for people like Zoran, voting for people like Bernie.
Yeah, half the country didn't necessarily vote for Trump. Less than half the
77 million.
Right, but less than half the people that went to the voter booth did not vote for Donald Trump. He did win the popular vote,
yes.
But there's a lot of people that are very unhappy. There's a lot of people that thought this was America First agenda. When you bail out other countries in the way he has, and you invite former Al-Qaeda leaders to the White House, and you do business with Qatar, and you do business with the prince, and you invite him to the White House, this is not an America First agenda. When you say 600,000 Chinese people should be coming to this country because we don't have enough talented people here, a lot of people were very pissed off at some of those things.
Yeah.
This is not an America First agenda. So a lot of people are very upset.
So are you saying that there should be a more America First agenda, or are you just pointing out things that other people
because
aren't
we know
happy
I'm
about?
saying why his numbers are so low and why so many of his supporters, I think, are jumping ship. That's what I'm saying.
I understand the criticisms of Trump from the right. I'm asking you, what specifically about the system as it stands can you not understand why people are supporting Donald Trump, why people are supporting your Bernie Sanders?
When you say
your Zoran?
system, be specific and give me something that the Democrats have put forth that you disagree with in regards to the system, so I could be specific and give you.
This post-war consensus, this sort of liberalism as it stands, is fundamentally failing people. You're seeing the suicide rate skyrocket. You're seeing depression numbers through the roof, substance abuse through the roof.
So you're blaming the suicide numbers for what? I mean, I could talk about gun control, and I can talk to you how easy it is for people to get their hands on guns. Suicide rates are through the roof. It's too easy for people to get their hands on guns that are mentally ill. I could talk to you about
the suicide rate is also sky high in places with super tight gun
and which
control.
party is taking money away from allocating funds for people that are mentally ill that need help? Which party is doing that?
I don't think every single suicidal person is doing this because of lack of resources. I think they're doing it because of lack of meaning.
I didn't say every single person. All I'm saying is which party, after a mass shooting, talks about how we need to help mentally ill, and which party is actually financially wanting to back
because we already have enough. We have enough
that
government programs to try and plug holes in this, but the reality is the system as it stands is robbing people of purpose.
Well, I think you'd have to be specific again and give me some policies, and then I might agree with you. I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with Democrats on every policy. Yes, I don't agree that transgenders should be competing with women on the playing field, but I also don't think that's a top 10 issue. Republicans are obsessed with banning books. They're obsessed with transgenders.
There are no banned books. If you're talking about,
what do you mean they talk about banning books all the time?
If you're talking about curating books that are in public libraries, that's curation. That's a different thing. Any book that you want to get, any book that a liberal or some progressive or someone on the left wants to get, they can buy right from Amazon, and there is no issue getting it. So it's not banning books. You're talking about you have a problem with the way that the left or with the way that the right curates books that are in public libraries.
What I will say is the Republicans talk about these books a lot. That's a big topic for them. I can go
It's not banning, though. It's curating what is in public libraries or in schools.
If something is
curation is not banning. That's totally different.
So here's the point that I was trying to make. When you look at, I believe it's the second leading cause of death in children under 16, gun violence. And
it's not the second leading cause of death in children under 16.
What is it? What number is it?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's not the second.
I thought it was the second. I could be wrong on that. But I think we all could agree here, children getting gunned down in schools is horrible. It's terrible. But I feel like MAGA Republicans particularly care more about drag queens, and they make it sound like drag queens are more of a threat, to children in this country than all the gun violence we have. And I think that is, I'm very passionate about that. I grew up right down the road from Sandy Hook in Connecticut. And have you ever seen a Democrat on a campaign ad brag about their A+ rating from the NRA? It's all Republicans. Have you ever seen a Democrat?
There used to be pro-gun Democrats.
But also,
there used to be.
But this is dancing around the main sort of point I'm trying to get to is drag queens as they exist are downstream from what is the issue fundamentally. Is people in the United States and the West broadly have been robbed of their identity. So they just gravitate. They believe it's something that's transient, something that can just move around. Gun violence is just a method.
How are you robbed of your identity? Explain that to me. How are people being robbed
of
their
machines that are becoming
because if you're born as a woman and then you get deracinated and you're like, okay, maybe I can be.
Who's deracinating?
This new post-war consensus, this liberal order.
But who's forcing children to be transgender? Who's doing
the system at large? Because there's no
system.
Yes, because there's
a very broad statement.
Because there's no sense of identity. There's no no emphasis of identity.
So telling children it's okay to be transgender, you're not okay with that?
Yes, I'm not okay with that at all. They're children.
You're not okay.
They're not.
So if a children asks a question, what is transgender? The teacher shouldn't be allowed to answer it.
That's something that parents should talk about. To be honest with you, but to be honest with you, the idea that children have to know know about this stuff, I totally reject that.
Depends on how old they are. It depends. I think it depends on how old they are. But the idea that Donald Trump says you drop off your children at school and then they come home another gender is a joke. That's not happening. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to talk to doctors. You have to talk to therapists. You have to get parental consent in most cases.
Depends on where you are.
Yes, it depends on where you are.
It's clearly coming from somewhere because we're seeing as each generation passes the doubling of LGBT identification within that generation.
You know why? Because maybe people find it to be a little bit more socially acceptable to be gay now than it was maybe 20, 30 years ago.
If that were the case, then why is it
very different?
Yeah, they're very,
so you guys think one day a child or a teenager just says, "Hey, I think I'm going to like men now because my teacher said it's okay"? Is that what you think?
It's not about gay. It's about being transgender, which means that you think you're not in the right body, which is like a dysmorphic thing that can happen to kids if they don't have like.
So why do we want to get involved in that? Why not let them listen to professionals?
Because there's a massive incentive structure bending towards it. Of course there
is.
Yes.
What's the incentive structure?
There's economic benefits. You have you have DEI principles that sort of benefit you in college admissions if you're part of the LGBT.
So
and then broadly, it's also culturally, it is the cool in thing.
So people are getting advantages in society because they're transgender.
Yes.
Yes.
That I haven't heard that before. I think it's actually the opposite. I think a lot of these people are discriminated against.
No.
I have a stat update for
by
you.
By law, they cannot be discriminated against. And actually now there's quotas.
They still are, though. Just because the law says you can't discriminate doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
You have weapons at your disposal to sue. I mean, it's
I don't understand why Republicans are obsessed with transgenders. I just don't get it.
Companies like have it out for trans people is just not happening whatsoever.
Well, I think in this society, if you are gay or if you are transgender, I think that group of people are discriminated a lot more against than people that are like us.
Not nowadays.
Not now. It's like celebrated.
Absolutely not.
How is a white male our age being discriminated against because the color of our skin or our sexuality?
There's a great article.
Just tell me. We don't have to look up an article. Just tell me.
Well, it's discriminated in hiring, in school, college admissions. If you look at the number of young white men,
you're talking about affirmative action. Is that what you're referring to when it comes to college admissions?
No, I'm talking about particularly in the workplace. But workplaces are saying we need to focus on diversity, and we're not going to hire white.
So you think we even saw it with the last election where Biden's like, I'm going to pick a POC woman.
So let me ask you guys a question then. In society right now, would you rather be a white male or would you rather be a gay black male? What would you rather be in society?
Me.
I'd rather be me.
Okay.
My identity is intrinsic to me. It's bind.
You think that transgenders and homosexuals are treated better than the average straight white male in this country?
Generally,
well, I disagree. I disagree with you.
I don't think so. I think they're under a lot of stress.
Well, because they're under stress because it's not it's a corrosive it's a sort of state of being that is corrosive to the soul in many ways.
Why is being gay corrosive to the system?
It's corrosive to your soul.
I don't want to conflate gay and transgender. They're completely
but hold on. This
different.
is important though.
Because being married in a happy marriage with a woman and having children is like naturally beneficial to the soul.
So your opinion, which is fine, I respect your opinion. If you think naturally marrying a woman and having kids is better for your soul, that's fine. But not everybody thinks like you, and everybody is different. Most people that are gay, including George Santos, who happens to be a friend of mine, told me he knew he was gay when he was 5 years old. It wasn't a choice. Why would you say it's corrosive to somebody when it's not even their choice?
We haven't made the argument that.
Well, you just said it was corrosive.
We haven't made the argument that being gay is a choice. We made the argument that transgenderism is a choice.
Right, but you said being gay is corrosive. You said the lifestyle of being gay is corrosive, and I would say
they're much more unhappy. The suicide rate's far higher. The substance abuse rate is far higher.
Did you ever think that maybe the suicide rate is more higher because of the way people treat them in society?
What, getting glossy advertisements and like getting put on the cover of every fashion magazine? Like in what way? I mean, I would have bought this argument in like the 60s.
No, maybe being hazed when you were a kid, and maybe people like you telling people that you're corrosive, even though it's not your choice.
I didn't say they are corrosive. I said the action is corrosive,
which makes them corrosive. Their behavior is corrosive. They're corrosive.
Like any human being corrosive.
To the soul was the specific quote.
Yes, that's corrosive to the soul. I think there's a lot of actions.
Fundamentally,
that are corrosive to the soul.
this is just where I think we fundamentally here. I don't care what your sexuality is. I don't care whether you're transgender or not. It certainly doesn't affect me in a negative way. I want people to live their lives and be happy, and I want the government out of their lives. I don't want to treat people with disrespect or call them their behavior corrosive just because their sexuality is different than me. I disagree with you.
You keep mischaracterizing. I said corrosive to your soul. This action does impact you, and then yes. People, the transgender movement at large has affected everybody. Like, because all society is a makeup, it's a conglomeration of individuals. And so when you have a large proportion of individuals behaving in a certain way, that's going to have an impact on society.
Would you not vote for somebody because of their sexuality?
It depends on who it is. I mean,
is that a factor to you? It doesn't matter.
It's a factor, yeah.
Okay. So it's corrosive.
Being a single man is a factor to me. Like I would have hangups if like someone was running for president, they were a single man. There's a lot of factors.
What about somebody that cheats on every woman he's ever been with? Is that corrosive to the soul as well?
That is a factor. Absolutely, Trump's morality was a factor in supporting.
But it wasn't enough for you to say.
No,
well, look at
that's
the
why
options.
I said I would vote for a gay guy. Like that's not like the deciding factor. It's just a factor. Yes.
I really voted against the imperial corporate state that seems to be trying to force us to take their medicine. It's really.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. It's just me. I don't care what someone's sexuality is. I don't think they're corrosive just because they're different than me. Their behavior.
You keep saying that over.
Their behavior is corrosive.
Being gay is not corrosive to my soul. It's corrosive to their soul.
The argument that he was making is that part of the reason why people are depressed, or part of the reason why there's such depression and stuff, is because it's corrosive to their soul, not because they are corrosive to themselves or to others.
Yes, and likewise, that's why you're seeing like right now with like this incel thing that's happening. Again, that is a behavior. Not having companionship is corrosive to your soul. If you hate women, that's going to be corrosive to your soul. Anything that is outside of this natural order is going to cause you grief. Like I think even gay people would agree with me, as they would say, yeah, the not being able to have like this, sort of traditional marriage, not being able to procreate, like, yeah, it sucks. And that's why gay people often will say, like, if I had kids, I wouldn't want them to be gay. They say this all the time.
Well, like I said, in most cases, it's not a choice. I don't care what people do behind closed doors, so long as it's not illegal. I disagree with you. I don't think that behavior is corrosive to the soul. I think if you're going back to religious purposes or the Bible, I could care less what a book says.
Never once alluded to the Bible.
I'm just speaking in general terms. I'm not saying you said that.
Yeah.
But I think this is the problem in society in general. I think we are too judgmental of other people based on their behavior that might not be exactly the way you want it for you. And you know what I say? Be happy. Marry somebody. Have as many kids as you want. Just don't judge other people because they're not like you.
Do you think the issue in today's society is that not enough people are being told yes?
I think the issue in society is too many people are being told this is right and this is wrong. We could be talking about religion.
There's objective morality.
Yes, we could be talking about religion. My religion is right. Everybody else's religion is wrong. There's a lot of people that think like that, and I think they're sick. All sorts of different. Well, all sorts of different religions. Who are you to tell somebody that they're right and you're wrong? You don't know who God is. You've never met God. You've never met him. You don't know. No, you don't. You don't know if there's life after death. You can say you do, but you don't.
There is.
I could say that the tooth fairy is God. We don't know. Okay, you can believe what you want to believe.
This could turn into a theology debate.
It's faith. It's a faith. You have the right to believe in what you want to believe in.
What I'm saying is that there is objective morality and objective truth.
Yes,
and that it would be nice if the incentive structures in the United States and the West largely would bend towards objective truth.
I don't think being. Let me let you get this in, Ryan. But let me say this real quick. I don't think being gay is corrosive to the soul so much as getting it on with too many people. And maybe guys, because of their testosterone, get it on more than girls, and two gay dudes might get it on more than a straight.
Part of the reason why the
multiple
gay
partners
community has such a promiscuous thing about it is because there isn't the mediating factor of women, right? Like women are like the hold on. Women are the gatekeepers of sex. When you take women out of it, you end up with an extremely
much more carnal.
Promiscuousism can cause corrosivity. I mean, if you believe in the virtue of chastity, which is like save it for your woman or save it for your partner.
I've heard people say that gay men and gay women don't raise children as well as a man and a woman does. I've heard all sorts of theories, and here's the bottom line. I've seen straight men and straight women, horrible parents. I'm sure you guys would agree. It's a case-by-case basis. And I just get frustrated when people make judgments about an entire group of people because they might not be like.
Well, let me talk about trans.
Do you not think that children have a right to a father and a mother?
I think children have a right to parents, and
you don't think that father and a mother are important?
I think parents are very important.
No.
Of course.
I'm specifically
whether it's a father.
I'm specifically asking.
Yes.
Do you think that the best option for children is to have a mother and a father?
I think if it's two fathers or two mothers, I'm just as fine with it.
So you do not think
it's a case by case basis.
You do not think that children are better served when there is a father and a mother. You think that it is fine if it is two mothers or two fathers.
I mean, if you could show me a study that shows otherwise, then I'd be open to looking at it. No, I answered you. There's a lot of men and women that are horrible parents out there, and I can also tell you that there are gay parents that are wonderful parents. It's a case by case basis, and I don't think their sexuality has anything to do with it.
The original question is, do children have a right to a father and a mother, for the same reason that it's like, yes, it's a tragedy for the child when they are raised in like a single parent household. It's unfortunate. It's not. It's not
That's
beneficial.
what I think is a more important issue than what we're talking about.
Because it's the same thing. It's like, because you need that masculine, feminine influence when you're growing up.
No, I don't think it's the same thing. When you're raised by one parent, as opposed to being raised by two parents, two that happen to be men or two happen to be women, I don't think that's the same thing at all.
So you think like three parents is even better?
No, I didn't say that either.
Well, then what's so special about two?
What's so special? Well, what do you mean? What's so special about two?
Because
That's what you're asking
against
me.
three parents, and then you say one parent. You say
well,
three parents is not
a lot
preferable.
Of kids have
one
three
parent.
parents. A lot of kids have three parents. There's stepfathers, there's stepmothers. I mean, there's a lot of situations.
That's completely different.
That's a good argument, Tate. I think it's the duality of man and woman that make baby that makes us think that it's important to have two parents.
No, it is because, again, as a human being, you need a mother, you need a father.
Fathers and
again,
mothers.
this is not. I mean, I come. My household. It's not optimal.
I love my parents. I have a father and a mother, and I do not.
My father and mother are terrific. And what I was alluding to is that without both of their influences, I don't know how it would turn out. Maybe it would turn out okay, but I don't know.
And that's great. I feel the same way about my parents.
I would want that for every child.
All I can tell you is that there are kids out there that grow up to be pretty awesome people, and they have two fathers and two mothers, and I guess it goes back to the original argument that I was trying to make, is that I don't want to interfere in other people's lives. I want people to be happy. I don't care what their sexuality is. That's kind of fundamentally my personal opinion on where I stand on all this stuff. I just want people stay out of people's private lives.
I just don't think that society has benefited from telling people yes to everything. It's everything has gone backwards. Everything's gotten worse. People need guardrails.
Yeah, I agree, and it doesn't seem like our president has many guardrails. No,
okay.
I think we need.
You're going back to
I think we need guardrails. No. Of course, that's what he's going to do. Of course we need. No, but of course we need guardrails.
You just said we don't. You just said whatever happens behind closed doors. I don't care. No. That's the opposite of
guardrails. What I'm talking about is somebody's sexuality. Yes. Whether they want to be gay or straight.
Sexuality has guardrails. That's why rape is illegal. That's why.
Okay, but we're talking about people.
Pornography is like disadvantage. That's bad for you.
Yeah, I'm not comparing. Rape. I'm not talking about rape to somebody who happens to be gay. Those are two completely different things.
I didn't say. You were saying that. Obviously, you're arguing that we don't need guardrails, but we do need guardrails. No. I'm trying to figure which one do you believe.
When it comes to raping somebody and breaking the law,
it's a guardrail.
We're not right, but we're not. We're talking about homosexuality and parenting.
It's completely. I agree. It's not the same thing at all.
That's a totally different realm of conversation.
What I was saying is that yes, you do believe in guardrails. And so,
well, of course you can't break the law and rape people and sexually assault people.
Right. So, if we're trying to achieve the best possible sort of flourishment for human beings, guardrails are important because people, when left to their own devices, it's very rare that someone's going to make the best possible decision.
Obviously,
that's why the United States government. That's why hard drugs are illegal, because unfortunately, when people get addicted to heroin, they can't help but get more heroin. Like it's addictive. It's something again that's
we are not doing a good enough job in this country when it comes to addiction in general, and I agree with you.
But what if someone's doing heroin in the privacy of their own home? Why do you care? It doesn't affect you.
Well, first of all, we're talking about sex, and we're talking about two men or two women.
I don't care what people do in the privacy of their own home.
Well, I was referring to sex and what they do in the bedroom. I was not referring to doing drugs, which can kill you.
Yes.
Those are
two poor outcome for your life.
Those are two completely different things.
So in one instance, you are advocating for the government to intervene when the outcome of someone's life is threatened, but in the realm of sexuality, it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, because when two men or two women are having sex, I would never compare that to somebody that's taking heroin.
But if a child,
those are two different things.
If it's like, okay, the argument generally from the right that I've discerned over the last few years is that you have to protect children from devious parents, people that would sexually abuse their children or whatever. So if people are getting sexualized imagery and metaphors and ideas into like 8-year-olds and 7 and 6-year-olds.
Of course that's wrong.
And they're concerned that just by bringing up transgender, you are bringing up sexuality to a 6-year-old that it's and for the TV to do it, a corporation to have commercials about it, it's like, homie, that's the argument. I have a hard time refuting it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.